to challenge everyone. But looks like Val got everything worked out. Looks like we're getting started.
And we have the very exciting Rosa start with a Cecil. So Dream Team started, though it looks like Rosa's going to be carrying a fair bit, and she might be carrying Cecil pretty far with that hook start.
We'll see if we did end up with a hook seed or not, or maybe somewhere we can find the magma key to alleviate our runners' suffering just a teeny bit, just a little.
I mean, you start with a Rosa. How hard could it be? She's like one of the best characters in the game, right? She.
And this also just further incentivizes ordeals since we have this Cecil start here. You can see we have like this sort of rundown here done by a guiding way, letting us know that we have to go through, get the fiends, and then in all their variations, and then can we will then be rewarded with the crystal. So for those of you who do like sort of like the traditional like demist hunt, this is like demist hunt like amped up even further because now we have a whole bunch of bosses to find.
Indeed, but ironically, we're not hunting demons today because to throw everyone off, we decided to give Edward an item, and it is a darkness crystal. Looks like it was a little too dark in his room, and it clouded his earth crystal, or his twin harp, I guess.
So this actually really opens up the seed. We'll have to see. Maybe someone will at least want to try go on up and grab the moon character at the very least, or we'll just have to see if they want to stay down here on Earth for a little while first.
Yep, and because of how the randomization is set up, Fusoya could be on the moon. That he's definitely not going to be anywhere on the open spots right now. So, getting an early food would be a pretty good help.
That would be really helpful. As sort of mentioned, we did restrict the different characters you could be in here. Though we did mainly pretty much give you the opposite of reject percent. This is, like desirable percent.
I don't see my ever loved Rydia with the Bahamut. Yeah, you definitely went and kicked out all the bad characters. I think the only good character who got the boot was Palom.
Well, just a little bit of balance. We gave you food.
Gave us food so we can go and not need to worry about healing or having any of those spells for a while. We just have to go and worry about beating things down in a very straightforward fashion.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like we have a little bit of exploration. Dia, she went and turned in her darkness crystal, so she's going to give us our first look at the moon. Smapty did see that we had a second Cecil up there on Mount Hobbs, but not super interested in it right now, looks like.
Looks like they're not in a rush to go and defeat the Octomam when they have the only character in the game who can go and do bonus damage to Octomam. That's right. Dark Knight Cecil with his dark swords will do bonus damage. It's not really worth it, I think.
We'll see if Chokasura decides. Looks like he might be going for it.
Chokasura deciding no, the Octomam does not live today. Meanwhile, Smapty is deciding to go and explore the Cave of Evelyn, checking that shop, which will be a little bit stronger compared to the other overworld shops. Coffins and Sirens, that's a shop, all right, if you can get some money.
So that's interesting. So we'll have to see. So now this is interesting. So if we do find a magma key, then that might mean that our other runners might not want to go that direction, and they might miss out on those sirens.
Indeed, missing out on those sirens and coffins could be huge. That's if there's a magma key early on, just waiting to be found, or if this hook ride is free, that is just free levels left on the table. Meanwhile, we see Dia on the moon, and she is discovering who our moon character is, and it is a Fusoya.
Ah, there you go. That is a delicious vanilla mop.
I don't know what mops you have where the taste can come into play, but I'm curious. Tell me more.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe, I don't know. Can you get like floor cleaner like in like vanilla scent? Probably.
I mean, you've got pine. I'm sure vanilla
Yeah.
smells good enough to some people.
Oh, okay. So we have Sid down there as our hook character.
I was distracted by that fusoya and the thoughts of a vanilla mob, so I did not see who that boss is. But Sid is definitely a welcome addition for this team. He adds some pretty good meaty early game punch. Rosa can lend him his bow or lend him her bow for a bit, and he can become back row glitch unless you just have another bow waiting in your inventory.
Yeah, chat and also Rumblefish giving us the look. It is Antlion who is our in the Rubicante spot today, and Dia, she finds us the Elements fight. So one of our required bosses.
Indeed. And this is actually a little unpleasant for Dia because the Myline form is going to absorb the only damage that they have at the moment, which is ice. It might be best for them to reset and come back after they can go and switch over, like either just burst out a fair amount of damage or have some more spells on fusoya, because this spot has 3,000 HP, I believe. It's not, it's very fast. It's not terribly trivial, and I don't know if you want to spend that much time throwing Cure 1s at it.
We'll have to see if Dia decides just to power through it, or if she decides she wants to come back later.
Dia is definitely going and doing their best, and Smapey appears to have gone and found the Stellman chest in Eblan Cave. I wonder if he's just going to fight this to power up his Sid, or if he's going to go... He seems to be fighting it. And then he reset.
Yeah, Dia also took a reset. Looks like she's going to try and go again for this.
Speaking of resets, I wonder if Chokasur is going to reset Finding Wyvern.
I believe it is Whichburn tonight, so... Oh, do we even see it?
I didn't, because I was also checking that. It gives a life staff, but my panic reaction would still be to just run away.
It was retreat!
That is the greatest punish to panic resetting I could ever think of, to be entirely honest.
That's fantastic.
Chokasura gets a free life staff. Dia, words are hard. Dia did manage to take down the element spot. I saw Blizzard come out to take out that Rubicant form before he switched. So Dia's got one of the 6 bosses they need, so good for them. If other runners don't check that spot, Dia's got a sizable advantage. Smapey, in the meantime, has walked out of the Eblan Cave with his Sid and is going to go and just start trolling around. I wonder who he's going to go to next. Perhaps Antlion to find that cowardly wyvern.
Looks like he's going up checking some treasures. Now, we do have one of these sparse flags on. We only have, I believe, just the sparse 90. So there will still be a decent number of treasures in the game, but about 10% of them will be already looted.
Yep, just adding that slight bit of disappointment for those of us who... seems like some people are getting confused when they go to the grass spots and not finding anything, wondering if they really hit the button.
We were at least kind. Board was very kind and made it so that way for visible treasure chests, you can see the ones that have already been looted.
It is a nice change where instead of the old, what was it? T3 or T... I can't remember what it was. Empty treasure chests where all the boxes look full, then when they're not, these will just simply be very open about how exactly unfull they are.
Sometimes the treasure chest is just feeling a little unfulfilled.
That's
I'm curious to see who's going to be the first person to go up ordeals, because now we have 2 Cecils in the seed. There's 3 bosses up there. If it was me, that would be one of the first. That would be top of my priority list here on Earth.
Yeah, and if that wasn't enough, we have a fusoya in our party as well, who's lacking spells. Getting those is going to be some pretty helpful stuff. Looks like Rumblefish found a heroin robe somewhere, so this party is looking like they could go up ordeals without too much of an issue.
I think it won't be too long before someone heads up that way.
And it looks like Smapey is going and getting their darkness crystal now, going and hitting Bedward. Chokasura is checking out Troya. Dia is finding Sid. Dia is definitely going and picking up their characters and filling out their party. Though they did skip out on the Octomam, I can't really blame them because they had a 2 darkness sword, or not even darkness sword using cecils, 2 shadow sword using cecils. They do a shadow of any form of DPS. And Rumblefish is charging up ordeals. He did go to the hook path and pick up that Sid, so he has some form of DPS, I believe. Well, some form of DPS that's not iron arrows.
Yeah, so we'll see what is actually waiting up here for us this evening.
And well, speaking of waiting for us up there, Smapey's going to find out that Fusoya is waiting up there on the moon for him, and he is going to be rewarded with him very shortly. Starting with either...
I was going to say, yeah, we have a fairly easy boss right out the gate.
Oh yeah, these Baron guards, if you really want to, you can go and use those coffins you found in Eblin Cave to take them down, but it might not be entirely necessary. Well, that's interesting for me. These guards, if you cast a spell on them, they react with Piggy. If you hit them physically, they react with size. Turns out the J items still count as spells in their book.
They're giving it their best shot anyway, but looks like Rumblefish got a silence off at the very beginning though. Yeah, okay, yeah, mute bells.
Yes, the mute is a very effective status against them, as those counterattacks are pretty annoying and no one really wants to be bacon.
Actual mute bell strats. Always good to see.
Yeah, it turns out when you can't go and have hourglasses all over the place, the other status elements in this game are still quite effective.
Yeah, it's good ever since we've sort of did a little bit of a shakeup of the item meta to sort of see some other items gaining a lot of real value in the new meta that version 4 is bringing forth.
Yeah, and that is in my opinion, is a very good change. I think it's the more different ways you have to approach problems rather than having one problem that can be approached a number of ways, such as this Dark Elf could also be stopped with an hourglass. This goes and opens things up a bit more for us.
Yeah, and meanwhile, looks like I believe Chokashura is busy fighting a CPU. And whoa, okay, so maybe he has decided to just bring out the giant?
Maybe he's going to go and just peek what boss is in the element spot so he knows for later, or maybe he's hoping that he can go and... Oh, okay, he just talked to the wrong person.
Okay. Like, Smape, you got me a little... I'm like, real excited. Like, you may be a little confused, but you got the spirit? That's okay.
I mean, the giant is filled with machine enemies. Machine enemies are weak to hammers. Sid has a hammer. It's a fine strategy, right? I'm sure there's a silver hammer somewhere. I'm not going to pretend that I haven't gone into the giant with a silver hammer to go and beat all my DPS, but, you know, I'm also crazy.
Okay, so Choco was down at Fabul, so let's see what beating that CPU gauntlet has rewarded him with. There it is! There's that early magma key!
Anyone who skips Fabul is going to go and be terribly disappointed. And Chokasura, I don't know, has gone into Eblin Cave and found those coffins and sirens. So we don't know if he's going to go and have his super easy grind option right out of the gate.
And meanwhile, Smapey has found Valvalis. I believe that is in Baron Inn.
I do believe you're correct, and I don't know if he's actually going to be able to go and hit Valvalis here, just because he doesn't have anyone with enough strength multipliers to really go and reach that dodge threshold, because Valvalis is an absolute and utter jerk.
Not our Valvalis skunk, our dear restreamer tonight, though, who is definitely an up and up person.
Indeed. We appreciate Valvella's going to for them. And Smakey showing off that aim doesn't really care about the accuracy stat, as it just always hits. So Baigen might go and end up being a very dangerous opponent for Smakey. Ooh, Rosa goes down, and Rosa's the main person who could bring Rosa back. Well, I guess Fu potentially could, but this is not the best way. Just nope. Fusoya cannot go and bring Rosa back. It is just going to be a stand-up, beat-down kind of fight.
Looked like Rumblefish got the Baron key, if I read right, up on Ordeals. So maybe that will encourage him back to Baron Inn, which we now know is required.
Indeed, and he gets the other guards fight, the Kaipo guards. He's finding a lot of status vulnerable bosses up here.
Also a lot of really easy bosses early on.
Yeah, those are bosses you would rather find in a spot that is a bit harder and blocks something a bit more helpful than, well, I guess getting a strong Cecil early is pretty helpful, especially if you have black swords. You could go and tear through half these fights with just an instant death proc.
Ooh, that is true.
It seems that Dia has decided to come up Ordeals, either for getting their Cecil online or for getting their Fu some more spell. Ooh, looks like Fu learns Quake pretty early, so that's a very huge benefit. That seems to be Smakey was probably 1 or 2 fights shy of going into that Quake spell, which is definitely hurting him on this Baigen fight now.
Yeah, Quake would make quick work of Baigen, but he's sticking it out there.
That spell would certainly have Baigen quaking in his boots.
Now here's the thing. Are Baigen's feet also snakes?
If they are, I'd be quaking in his boots because they'd be really angry snakes.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of snake appendages there. I would not be surprised if the feet were also snakes. Okay, we got the Luca key for actually completing Baron Inn.
Which might not be required because we do have that warp glitch on and there is a Fusoya available, but if Fusoya doesn't learn warp until, say, 1800 HP, that could put a damper on doing Dwarf Castle so late. Meanwhile, Dia is continuing to tear through Mount Ordeals, just dropping everything off the mountain itself, deciding that, no, I am the queen of the mountain.
Yes, just everyone just get in the ravine. Just quake, open up the ravine, and there you go. All your problems are solved. They're in a ravine now.
And it's right there too. It's super convenient. It's like it's a very short trip.
Yeah.
Long fall, short trip. Smakey, however, has gone and completed that Baigen fight. I did miss what he right, we discussed this.
Yes.
He received the Luca key.
Yes.
I pay attention. Have I mentioned that Tower Sheep is our fantastic scripter tonight?
Thank you, Tower Sheep. Sorry about that. I saw it like real fast. I was like, yes, it is indeed a Bahamut summon, so unfortunately completely useless on the sea just for money.
I mean, money's at least something. We can go and buy sirens and coffins.
But you can't. No. We don't get to summon any dragons today. Womp womp.
I mean, Fusoya can go and pretend to be a dragon if it's, if we pretend the earth is a dragon's maw opening up, that's like a dragon, right?
It's more like casting a Titan spell. It's fine. We can be fine without having Bahamut or one seed. But it is always fun when you do get to have Bahamut.
Maybe we'll just find Bahamut and cast a bunch of walls, then we can go and pretend that we casted Bahamut on Bahamut.
There you go. That's thinking outside the box.
Yeah, because we know that Wyvern is going to go and entertain our notions. Wyvern's decided that they're not earning their paycheck today.
You know what? Wyvern's allowed to have a vacation day, I think, now and again.
just runs in terror of the two weakest characters in the game in the current state. Yeah, that's definitely him. But Wyvern's really phoning it in today.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. The one thing I'm very sad about. So I have asked Boardface about this specifically. Unfortunately, because of coding issues, we can't have one of the whichburns be the Pink Puff Dance Party command, which makes me really sad. Have you ever gone pinktail hunting?
I found the pigtails before. That was an experience. That's
Dance party.
If anyone of you are really curious and want to know exactly what happens when you find the pink puffs and what this dance party that Skull is alluding to, take a siren, go to the room at the very near the bottom of the lunar subterranean with just one chest that doesn't lead to anywhere. Use it in there, you'll find 5 slimes called pink puffs. Enjoy yourself. Or don't, because you really don't enjoy yourself in that fight.
Whatever, just bring like your Zeromus party, and then you get to have Quint Zerker times. It's fine.
Yes, nothing terrible happens in that fight whatsoever, and there's nothing wrong with what happened to you. So it looks like Dia must have suffered an unfortunate accident, as they appear to be redoing ordeals.
Oh no, poor Dia. Oh well, she's got this. She'll be right back through it.
Indeed, and Safety is also doing ordeals now, discovering that they have their Quake spell.
Oh yeah, he'll get through this real fast.
Jokusur is also making quick work of this, as they're just simply going and cutting down these guards. I don't know if they got stopped or if they're just, nope, just took out all the guards very quickly.
And so maybe using some frog strats. I always like seeing frog strats.
Frog is another underutilized spell, which I am happy to see used more after being unchained by the yokes of the oppression of the Hourglass Stop spell.
Everyone just gets to be such cute little frogs. Little frog sprites so adorable.
It's only adorable when you can see their cute little faces. When they're on your side, you just can't really see much of anything about them.
I wish we could change that, but we can't. It's little pulling back behind the dev curtain. The frog is actually like really interesting. Like all the status effects sprites are actually really interestingly coded. They pull from specific colors on each character's character palette. So I actually had to go through and make sure that all the character palettes not only work for the characters themselves, but also for when they become a pig, or a frog, or a mini.
Well, that sounds like a lot of work, and for that, I think I speak for everyone when I say thank you. They are always pleasant to see.
I am looking forward to when we can reveal the. We do have an upcoming set of new fab sprites, but we're still ironing out all the actual important details of version 4 first.
Well, I think it's going to be a very exciting day when 4.0 is out of beta and into full release.
Yes, there are a lot of things that we have coming up that, as far as like little extras in terms of things with new Zeromus sprites, with new fab palettes, with new harp songs, that I think a lot of people are going to be really, really excited about.
I mean, as if this 4.0 wasn't already exciting enough as it is, with all the objectives and the changes to the item balancing, the shop balancing, the alt gauntlet, which we might go and get a chance to see this evening. There's a lot of stuff to be excited about, and you're saying there's even more to be excited about.
Yeah, so all of that, what you were describing, that is the absolutely beautiful, delicious, moist cake that Board has baked for everyone, and then everything else is the beautiful like frosting and cherries and all the other accoutrements that we're piling on top of all of that.
Has Board considered that 17 layers might be a bit big for a cake?
No, not big enough. Wedding cakes, like you ever seen like those cool like topsy-turvy wedding cakes? They're so cool looking, and they're like, ah.
I have not. I'll have to look that up because that sounds very interesting.
Hi, I'm Scala, and absolutely no one is surprised at the fact that I have watched a lot of Food Network, and I really enjoy Cake Wars.
It might not be a cake, but we do see that Chokasura is the first runner getting themselves ready to go underground as they are taking that magma key they got from Fabul and checking it down the well and opening up the path to the underground.
Looks like though that Dia is also currently in Fabul, so hopefully she'll be getting her magma key as well,
And there are
real
the
quick.
black swords being sold that I was talking about, which I don't think any runner picked up because they either charged up ordeals or uh, they were Chokasura and did not buy black swords.
Oh, looks like Chokushura is going to validate this seed. Always the people's champ. Uh, ooh, ornamental metalwork designer. That's super cool. I like that.
That sounds like a very interesting and taxing job at the same time. Oh, that's certainly a nice shop too, with strength rings. I think they sold crystal gauntlets and some dragoon gear as well. Dragon whip. Now, oh my, I am
This
seeing
is
all
quite the
sorts of nice
shop.
things.
To answer a question in chat, we so far we have found Valvalis and the elements. So we've got 2 of 6.
Yes, and currently it seems that I think Jokasura is the only one who has not gone and picked up their fusoya, unless I've missed Rumblefish skipping that as well.
We'll see Rumblefish's party loadout in just a second.
I think Jokasura might be the only player who went and picked up the Cecil who's on Hobbs, which is an interesting change. Yes, Jokasura is the only person who's picked up the second Cecil, who was a Dark Knight and did, shall we say, marginal damage, while the other players have either picked up the Fusoya or the Fusoya and the Sid in Cave Evelyn, which I think is going to start paying greater dividends for them.
And yeah, Rumblefish did go up to the moon, has Fu quaking away at CPU there.
That is certainly a pickup. Meanwhile, Jokasura finding a cursed ring in the first floor of Path to Feymarch. That is probably one of the favorite items of mine to see. That minus 15 to agility and all other stats might not sound like the best, but if you can go and make all of your other characters faster by comparison, that is definitely a worthwhile pickup.
Um, Des, the closest thing we have to that right now, just answering question in chat, is vintage mode, which was a mode put together by Boardface. It does swap out pretty much all the graphics to instead look like Final Fantasy One. Also changes like a number of the names and the fonts. So if you would like to see sort of a graphical repackaging of Free Enterprise, turn on Vintage mode, and you get to see it as if it was on the NES, like it was originally designed to be. There you go. There's your fun Final Fantasy development lore fact. This was originally going to be a NES game.
Yeah, that was a very interesting thing that I learned, and apparently it was not an insubstantial amount of the way into development, which is why some features that show up in later versions of the game, namely the ability to change your party after a certain point of the story, makes it in there, but was supposedly intended for our SNES version as well.
Yeah, that's just one of those. Okay. Ooh. So we do have Rubicante down in in the Fey March.
And they're joined either by a water hag or an assortment of monsters who just happen to go and get together there and having a little poker party.
It's just 16 monsters in a trench coat.
Is it 16? I believe it might not be
Uh,
16
oh, that's
tonight.
right. It won't be 16 tonight. Well, it is a random assortment of monsters, but also still just in a trench coat.
They're all just waiting to surprise us with exactly what we're going to find. And it looks like Chokasura is popping. I believe they must have found a siren as they don't have any coffins. And through an hourglass that they were able to purchase in Feymarch, there are hourglass 2s for sale there. And are trying to go and just work down an egg somewhat quickly. They're not, unfortunately, having a lot of success doing damage, it looks like.
He's giving it the old college try, trying really hard to scramble it. He'll get there. He'll get there.
There we go. Rosa carried most of the DPS, and Cecil decided to go and try and steal the credit. But 21 levels, that can change those damage numbers pretty quickly. Meanwhile, we see Dia is in Dwarf Castle, going exploring there, checking the shops, finding elixirs in the shop, which, if you have an extraordinary amount of money, might be worthwhile. And we'll see if they're going in. Either Fusoya has warp and I've missed it, or Dia is not entirely concerned on the warp glitch today.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can maybe catch Fu's spell list while Dia's in the fight.
With the sparkle that's not Wyvern, I imagine we're going to be seeing a Quake coming out, unless it's Ogopogo.
That's okay. That still lets us take a very quick look at the spell list, and it is Ogopogo. Are you sure you're not trying to commentate or curse tonight?
Try? No. Succeed? Apparently.
Meanwhile, it looks like Chokushura is going to very quickly do the Sheila 1 check. Already went through and talked to Yang.
Which, if anyone was trying to go and double up on checks and skip a bull to not do that check and save a trip theoretically, they did not go and have a good day today if they went through that hook route instead.
I think so far everyone has found the magma key. So pretty much everyone ignoring that early hook we got.
All of our restream runners, at least. There might be
Yes.
some daring soul in the non-restreamed, as we do have more than just the 4 here running the sea tonight. Maybe we'll see if someone else went and discovered the folly of their ways in the race spoilers channel tonight. But Rumblefish is also coming to Dwarf Castle right away. Smapety opening up underground, and Chukasura is getting a Drain Spear. I believe there are some Swimmy fans who are very excited right now.
Drain Spear hype!
And I thought that got removed from the high tier pool, so this is just a low tier item that you got as a reward. Sheila is out for blood, it seems.
Well, she has to have something to offset her frying pan foo.
Are you suggesting she's out for blood because she has an iron deficiency?
Could be. All right, so let's see. Oh, we have Mylon and friends here in Dwarf Castles. That also makes Dwarf Castle required.
Yep, that would be the third of technically the fourth we've seen, though the third likely to be defeated, as Rubicon is sitting down in a sure spot in the Feymarch, and I'm not thinking about going down to fighting them anytime soon. At least I wouldn't with how this seed is rolling out. Want to go and get some more spells on Fusoya, but he did learn Ice 3 from that, so we'll see if we can that changes some people's opinions. But now we see the hand going towards the crystal, and hopefully we have Fusoya's with warp to warp glitch us to Lukiki, or to Sealed Cave.
Yeah, that would be nice. If we do, we'll have to just see. All right, Dia, do we got it? Hey, looks like we got it. So let's find out what is our sealed cave item as well. The Baron, hey, there's that Baron key. For those of you who are not familiar with the warp glitch, the crystal room in Dwarf Castle is also technically the crystal room in the sealed cave. And by using a warp spell, we basically just kind of warp back to where we were, and it lets us get the item that we usually find in the sealed cave. So yay, we don't have to do all that walking.
Unless a required boss is there, which there's always the possibility. It's
That
2 out of...
that is true. That is true. So we have found 4 so far. We got 2 left.
And the 2 we have left, being Kanizo and Mylon Z, Kanizo can be in a very, very ugly spot if he's somewhere like, say, the elements, where there's just an absurd amount of HP, and you will need to do some very specific strategies to defeat Kanizo. And then Mylon Z is a joke in a lot of places, but he can still punch
Ooh,
pretty hard.
when was the I mean that I don't actually know. Unfortunately my knowledge of the deep lore of the different routes of this game, because I got, like, you know, coming into this last year, I am still considered to be like relatively new. That would definitely be a question for probably for Rivers. I know Rivers knows a lot of history about the evolution of the vanilla route, so he'd probably be the person to ask about that.
Yeah, Rivers is a very good speedrunner of this game too. From my understanding, he was not one of the earliest runners of this game, but he definitely went and put down a lot of solid times and made some solid improvements on the route with his when he started running it.
All right, Penguin says it might even like predate like the modern sort of routes. Okay, so some people have known since the 90s.
Some people, not me. I'm
Not
honest, not a
me.
cheater.
Not me either.
The T Wildish flags are paying off as I just saw Murasame come out of one of those chests in Fame March. That's those of you who are unaware, that is a beta flag where one of the things we decided to do was rebalance how the loot works, where some plots will have better loot than others, and areas that have trap chest will just simply have much will be much more likely to have very strong loot. So you can get those high tier pieces from on these Wildish flags.
Yeah, always fun to get some really interesting loot when we allow it.
Indeed, it can definitely go and change things pretty significantly. That loot can do quite a lot of work.
So
Yeah.
Dia, oh, go ahead. We're talking about
I
Dia
know,
going
it's
through
just
Baron.
Just yep, just about that. I missed the first boss, and I didn't pay attention to who gave us the item. But we're seeing that Magus sisters are on the throne. They're decided that Baron needs to be a bit less punchy, and a bit more magic. Maybe as a revenge for their assault on Mysidia. Cracks in the floor, just shoddy construction in this castle, it seems. But we do have a pretty serious edge here.
Ooh, that's always really good to see.
And D is punting Sid to the side and taking that ninja. I don't blame
Also,
them.
I did go back and look at the at I did like in Venerable Wood, and I did take an instant replay. It was Yang who was in the Baigen spot today.
Well, that there were multiple Cecils around to go and tell him no, no punchy today. But Dia definitely going and escaping the room that stymied so many of us and other small children when we were growing up, and going to the pot to see what key item they can get.
All right, let's see what the key item is. Oh, it's the pass. Ooh, that's a nice little find. For this flag set, we are still required to go and kill Zeromus, so finding that pass is a nice little bonus. And also that opens up the Odin spot, which is another boss check. Now, I was going to say this is my sort of theory. The reason why we can escape through like all those traps that we would run into normally in the vanilla game is because in Final Fantasy IV we can dash.
We
So
just gone and
yeah,
shed our shackles and have started moving quickly and are
yeah,
putting these feet to good use.
yeah. I mean, that's basically what happens in the free enterprise version of that cutscene.
Because we went to Final Fantasy VI and stole their sprint shoes.
Exactly, perfect. That sounds like something that would basically happen in Beyond Chaos anyway.
Beyond Chaos, who would come back here too.
So let's see if there is anyone we actually need to care about down here in the Odin spot.
Yeah,
Also,
that's
oh, sorry, I was about to say also Chokashira finally going and getting his whale.
Yeah, I think Chokosura is going to be a little annoyed when they go and discover that they've been sitting on a foo for so very long.
And it is Dr. Luge. So we'll see if Dia decides that she wants to go through this, or
Yeah, the only unless it's a key item, like unless this gates a key item to a boss that we need to go and kill, not necessarily going to be required because, well, again, we could go and find the Earth Crystal, the Twin Harp, the Tower Key, which could all be blocking bosses. But in a surprising turn, key items are not the primary thing we should really be looking for at this point. I think it should be just check bosses, try and
yeah.
find, which is a very different meta change from, say, the Highway to the Zema Zone, where it's all about check all of your key items, find your Legend Sword, find your Adamant. Now it's find your 6 bosses.
Well, yeah, I mean that's part of the reason. I mean, we've been uh like version 4 has actually been in development for a lot longer than even like it being released like in like closed beta. Like there was discussion going on about version 4 as early, even like around like when we were doing our RPG limit break race. Cuz I remember I got to see some of the inner workings. And then I had to be very quiet about it for a very long time.
With the amount that's coming out, I don't. That definitely sounds reasonable because there's a lot coming out with this version. It's just all of the objectives, the other bells and whistles such as the rebalancing of loot flags, the alt gauntlet becoming a thing, the all the changes to just the vanilla flags, adding in some other sparse, which we're seeing this evening.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff coming with this, which I'm impressed. I continue to be impressed with Free Enterprise. It's my personal favorite randomizer, even though I am totally not 100% incredibly biased. No,
I'm allowed to be biased because I'm on the dev team.
I'm biased just because I'm bad at being impartial.
Also,
But
while we're having a little bit of a crisscross here, since we have a nice little audience tonight, this is also your reminder that this weekend, for Questing for Glory, Free Enterprise will be the closing race. So I believe that is scheduled. I will double check, but I believe that's scheduled for around.
I believe it's 5 p.m. Eastern Sunday.
Yeah, that's what we hope will be. It will probably be. Could obviously move around a little bit, so to know how marathons go. But we really do hope that if y'all want to come out, they'll be over on the RPG Limit Break channel. We have some really fun things planned. It is going to be quite the race because our racers uh, apparently are gluttons for punishment and will be racing Catalite.
Not just any Catalite, they're taking advantage of some new flags, such as the permadeath flag, where if a
Yes.
character ends a fight dead, they don't come back. They're just dead and gone and removed from your party.
So that's going to be really fun, and and of course, because it's free enterprise in a marathon setting, there will be some other surprises. Because of course, there's going to be surprises. We have a reputation to keep up. So
Really? How surprising.
I won't say exactly what they are, but I think everyone can kind of make a guess as to what they will be. So I do hope that everyone will have a chance to come out and join us. Anyway, commercial break over. Back to this race. So Dia's slowly making her way down through that Dr. Luge fight in the second form now. So hopefully it won't be too much longer.
Yeah, Dr. Luge is never a really fast fight with the number of cutscenes and talking, but that first phase has some pretty solid punches, and the second phase really goes and beats you up with the HP and just annoys you with the status effects. But Dia gets an adamant, not Fortune Crystal, not going to go and give you an adamant, but we do have a Cecil, so if we want to get a Excalibur, we can go and find a Legend Sword and get that going for us in another shop. Could sell some good stuff, but I think this is not
Oh,
necessarily what Dia wanted.
For our restreamer, Valval Skunk, apparently Rumblefish is having audio issues, so if you want to switch over to one of our other runners, that would be really fantastic. Thank you, Accident, for letting us know. We appreciate it. Unfortunately for me, I can't listen to the stream because then I would get speech jammed.
Same here. Whenever I hear someone talking, I automatically stop talking, which is very awkward when I'm supposed to be talking and commentating.
We'll get that fixed.
So,
Okay,
Dia,
sounds fixed. Go ahead.
I was just mentioning that Dia has not gone and done Baron Inn, which is why I was thinking Dia certainly seems to have gone and cleared up more of this content than everyone else. But Dia's been going just taking an alternate route, so everyone is going crisscrossing. Rumblefish is going and taking out that Belnom, having found the Baron Key. Smapety is going through Dwarf Castle, finding the Mylon and Friends fight. Chokasura is getting through that fight, or getting to that fight as well. So a lot of crisscrossing going on right here, where no one really wants to go and take the dive to just start checking the moon for bosses, or dive through the giant to see if they can find someone, or go into Feymarsh and take out that Rubicon. They're all hovering around other locations, it seems.
Yeah, it's I mean, we now the only thing is, like I said, we only have seen 4 of the different bosses that we need. So there is, of course, a chance that 2 of them could definitely be on the moon, or that 2 of them could be or at least one of them could be in the giant, or could be behind one of our locked spots. We have not heard music yet. As you can see on screen, none of our racers yet has found the twin harp.
Yeah, all things considered, we have found surprisingly few access key items outside of the darkness crystal. We've got the Baron Key, the Luca Key, which Warp Glitch is on, so that's something that people will commonly decide is not really worth a key item. And then we have the Darkness Crystal, which will open up a lot if you can kill all the monsters up there.
Yeah, so everyone so far has sort of been sticking around on Earth. As far as for clearing out different boss spots. But we'll see if anyone decides to be brave and goes to see if the moon is haunted or not.
Indeed, I do see that Rumblefish's fusoya is at 1500 HP, so they'll be going up to 1600 soon. Maybe once that fusoya gets their full spell list, that will go and embolden our runners and encourage them to start diving that moon and fight any ghosts that may or may not be there.
Oh yeah, I definitely can agree with that. I think they could probably start clearing out the moon. It looks like Dia might be taking that dive.
Or Dia is going into the Giant of Babel. Perhaps they're going to go and check the bosses there, or go and do maybe they received weak on their fusoya and are going to do a D machine grind and then start clearing them out.
Real quick for Tower Cheap, it is 6 bosses they have to fight, because they have to do both forms of Mylon Z as well as the elements. So
Which may be
6 altogether.
Which Smapety showed off on that track screen, where we have the tracker that shows key items. There's also a tracker to show all of your objectives that have been added in, thanks to Boardface.
That's okay, Tower Sheep. That's why I was letting you know. But thank you for keeping track.
I mean, if I didn't go and have someone tell me recently that it's 6, not 5, I would have called it 5, because it's like, yeah, it's Mylon, it's Kanizo, it's Velvalis, it's Rubicon, and then it's all of them again. What do you mean there's 6? Oh, right. Mylon's a cheating jerk.
Now, which one is the real Mylon is the interesting question. Is it Mylon and Friends, or is it Mylon Z?
I go with Mylon Z, because we all know that these guys just don't have friends. They're jerks.
Can you roast fictional characters from a 1990s video game? Find out tonight on Randomania.
Thank you. I just like to call it as I see it. Honest.
All right. Oh, looks like actually what Dia's doing is looks like Dia's planning to do a D machine grind.
I don't go and blame them for this. You've got a pretty solid party if you can go and get a lot of experience. Looks like Dia took one too many steps and walked off the step route, so... Okay, and Dia just does not want to deal with the second part of that step route where after you go and walk back down the teleporter, you go and start counting your steps afterwards, and that can go and lead you on to another way to get to the fight, but it is not not as convenient as the initial step route.
Ooh, Rumblefish doing a little extra looting, finds a Stardust Rod.
Up there in that tower.
That's always fun.
And a tiara, which is my personal favorite headpiece in the game, just because it gives a whole bunch of stats, good defense, and dragon resistance, and I just love dragon resistance.
I mean, I just like tiaras as the best headgear in real life as well.
I mean, I can't blame you for that, because it is fantastic.
To answer your question for chat, we are playing on what's called Fiends % tonight. This means that we must kill all the different variations of the 4 Fiends. So, Mylon and Mylon Z, Kainazo, Valvalis, Rubicante, and the Elements. So far, we have found 4 of those fights. We know that the Elements is at Octomam, Valvalis is in Baron Inn, Rubicante is in the Feymarch where Chokosura is fighting him currently, and Mylon in Friends is in Dwarf Castle. So we still have to find Kainazo and Mylon Z. And then once all the Fiends have been defeated, then we'll be rewarded with the crystal, and then we can go fight Zeromus. There's your little update.
And spots we have not checked, I do not believe we've had anyone go up to the top of the tower. No one has checked any of the moon bosses currently. No one has gone and checked what is in Sealed Cave, because we have the warp glitch on tonight. And I don't believe anyone has checked the element spot yet.
We also don't have any checks of King and Queen Eblon. Ooh, that would be really, really yes. That's what I'm voting for.
That is my favorite Dina spot after I saw a certain streamer play their second seed, have a Valvalis at Rubicant, and then try and find the Magma Key, which was on a Demus at Rubicant, at King Queen Eblin.
That's just like deliciously evil. Sorry, I'm getting like all into like my love of like absolute garbage seeds.
Oh, and it was also the old T3, which in the 2.0 version included the treasure chest, so there was a lot of places to go. And it was very easy to mix up with T4, which included the fact that you could have the moon in the mix, and there was a darkness crystal. It was a true evil seed, and that left an impression.
But Choco, though, making his way through that Rubicante fight.
Sid taking that nap and his fusoya learning nuke, that's a pretty solid one. The moon veil is, for an item that's not a key item, I'm pretty happy to see that when I've got 2 Cecils in my party.
So we'll see if Choco decides to also go ahead and just see what the key item is with that mysterious blue-robed figure.
Yes, and they'll go and feed our curiosity and let us know if it is actually the gauntlet or if it's just a water hag going and smirking at our disappointment.
I'm hoping for that alt gauntlet. I like showing off that flag.
The alt gauntlet is very amusing. I do not lie. That's I am super happy that's added and that board was able to come up with a way that did change up that fight.
Just make it a little spicier.
Well, maybe we'll find the spice in look, there's a better place for it, and I'm going to go and tell everyone where it is. It's the Ogopogo spot in the Lunar Core, where you have to fight things like red dragons, behemoths, evil mass, and get 700,000 experience.
I mean, yay for experience, but also Moon Gauntlet.
I mean, the Moon Gauntlet is just, you know... If you can get through that terrible, horrible thing, you'll be 200,000 experience away from nuke on a level 1 Palom, or level 10 Palom.
Alright, let's see if Water Hag had anything of interest for us today.
Rat Shell counts as interesting. Can give us a key item and can get you closer to that 10 key item mark, which none of our runners have hit yet.
Yeah, this seed's been surprisingly sparse on key items so far.
I'm just waiting for this to go and end with going up to the moon to find an earth crystal to go get that earth crystal, to get a twin harp, to get a tower key, to go and then find Kanizo sitting in that room laughing at you.
Delicious. I am 100% here for it. I joked that you like to commentator curse, but I'm like the worst at it. The thing is that usually I'm in the restreamer chair and no one can hear me. But today, y'all learned that Scala just loves to commentator curse. Absolutely everyone, friend or not.
Oh, the better the friend, the better the curse. We both know this.
Yes.
All right, so that's not a key item, but that's Choco Surge just got a pretty serious advantage with that adamant armor. For those of you who are wondering, what's an adamant armor? I've never seen this item. Who just added this to the game? It's in there, honest. It's in that pink puff fight we were talking about earlier. If you get a pink tail, which is a 1 in 256 drop, when you get a drop. So, you know, you've never seen this item for a reason. The reason being it gives you plus 15 to every single stat and has 100 defense. It is the most broken item in the game.
Now, there is one single caveat to it, which is that if you do take it off a character, they will then be much more.
Susceptible?
Yeah, susceptible. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Susceptible to elemental attacks. So there is a slight bit of balance there, but most of the time you just slap that on whoever you want it on, and you just let those good times roll. Meanwhile, Dia down in the Giant has found a free fight at the element spot.
This is hilarious because this is a free 100,000 experience. Just sitting there waiting for you to take it.
Especially after she did all the work to do her proper D-Machine fight. I'm gonna make a note about that.
What's even worse is the fact that Pkey came in here, and if he actually checked this boss, he'd have had a free 100,000 experience in the first 15 minutes of this run. That...
Oh, that hurts. That's just cruel.
Have I mentioned I'm a bad person?
I mean, we got your scalding hot takes earlier. Okay, Val says we have to tell Smapey later.
That's what Smapey gets for not restreaming, right, Val? For someone telling you to go and take the night off and go and enjoy Racing Free Enterprise for once.
It's the old gauntlet. Oh boy. That's where it is. This is a great place for it. Can you D-Machine grind on this? I actually need to know. Could you actually and what would that do for the experience?
I'm sure it's just another D-Machine fight they can then go through and then get immediately sucked into another fight because you forgot you're fighting the gauntlet rather than a D-Machine.
Yeah, this is actually an interesting experiment.
I do know that the experience is not scaled to the spot at all. It's just the encounters because I've received an alt gauntlet I've seen an alt gauntlet in the karate spot in Baron Inn, which does not have any experience. Okay, and Dia decided, wait, I can just leave this fight. I don't need to do this because I'm hunting bosses, but I'll take the free 100,000 experience.
Yeah, which I do believe is the right play.
Yes, while amusing, and I do endorse going and killing the gauntlet just because you can, and it's the alt gauntlet. It is not necessary, and you can just kind of leave. But at free 300,000 experience, no reason to leave that on the table.
No, not at all.
And here we see Rumblefish is gone and fought Rubicant received their Moon Veil, has picked up one more objective, and is just looking for the last two, I believe. We'll see if they go and fight the Water Hag next to them to get the Rat Tail that gives an adamant armor, because apparently the Lilliputian in Gauntlet Cave has found a lot of adamant today.
There's, sometimes you just have really good days, like in Minecraft. Is that what they're actually doing? Are they just playing Minecraft all day?
I mean, they look pretty blocky. And Smeepty apparently did not ever actually defeat Wyvern, and I think he's going to discover something really funny about this Wyvern fight.
Smeepty rocking those couch strats.
Or he's not going to discover it, and Valvalis will have another thing to go and needle him with, because he didn't see that Wyvern is just going to run away today.
Oh, well, it's same result. Half, he's very much a 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah, so that would definitely be me panicking resetting, because I would absolutely go and do that. But there's a life staff for him to give to one of his white mages if he so desires. And is now, where to next? Where do we go and take this train to next? Dia is also finished with the giant and is going to be leaving. Looks like Rumblefish did go and fight Water Hag, while Chokasura has gone and taken out Dr. Lugay. Dia venturing forth and becoming the runner, reaching new ground now, going to the moon for realsies this time.
For reals. I think she can. She can. I mean, Dia did her due diligence with leveling up. Ooh, and she's going straight to Kain Bahamut. I'm all excited.
Dia taking every opportunity to not go into the lunar subterranean just because she wants to build the suspense.
Yes, we'll see if there is value in the Bahamut stand tonight.
And just as a reminder, we're not looking for a key item, we're looking for bosses, because the bosses will go and get us our crystal. So you may go and just decide to reset after you see who the boss is. It's D-Mist, who also is not going to use the key item because Bedford had it, because we didn't mug him today.
So it looks like Dio still wants to fight for the key item that the D-Mist could hold.
Yep, just letting the Bahamut spot go and give it something, and pointing out that D-Mist is the Lord of Summons today. Definitely a bit of a change from the normal face, where this is the first summon you see, and definitely not the strongest, and it's taking a different approach today, it looks like.
I mean, maybe they had like a nice little democratic summon election, and D-Mist happened to win. Why can't D-Mist be the president of Eidolons? There we go. I can say that word.
I don't know, they seem a bit too transparent for that.
I think transparency is good in politics. Okay. Shh.
I don't know, do you really trust someone you can just see straight through?
I mean, they would give pretty much everyone the cold shoulder. It's also, in addition to being hot take night, it is also maximum pun night.
Every night is maximum pun night with me. I believe in punishment.
It's
not capital punishment, more like minimum punishment.
Lowercase punishment. No pan, Rumblefish. You don't got that. You have to just talk and walk. Ooh, but those Artemis arrows.
Artemis arrows are a pretty good find for... Well, there's Paladin left for dragons to fight, and I don't believe we have any others because, again, Wyvern is taking the easy way out today.
Well, he just wants the night off. He's a long vacation.
Wyvern's done going and shouting at everyone to go and leave him alone. He's just doing it on his own.
Ooh, now this is an interesting play. So Rumblefish is actually going to go and peek to see who the sealed cave boss is.
But first, I think he's saving to make sure that he can just kick that Luca key out of their inventory forever, which maybe I don't necessarily blame them for, because that is, when you fight the inventory boss, every space matters.
Oh, absolutely.
Dia, I believe, is getting close to taking out that Demus with Nuke, doing just... Dia showing off the favorite strategy of mine to deal with Demus, and that's is having some very high-powered spells to just blow up its face.
I mean, that's the whole point of sort of lording over the fact that you got a fusoya in your party.
I thought it was just to go and take all the old man's gear and give it to someone else.
I mean, that too. All right, there we go. So let's see. Was there any value at all in Cave Bahamut? Ooh, that's an interesting bit of value. The pan.
Could lead to a key item that apparently Fusoya refilled their MP by stealing Cecil's, and that was a detail that Dia forgot when they went to leave this cave.
Is it? I hope that value has been indeed well seasoned. Rumblefish though only finds a pale dim there in the sealed cave, so nothing. So sealed cave, you don't need anything from there.
Not paying off, unfortunately, which is statistically likely, but still rather annoying when you go and devote that much time to it. And we see that Smapty is going and clearing out Rubicant, being the third of our restream runners to go and clear out that fight and just check off one more element. I believe Dia is the only one of our restream runners who has not gone and taken out Rubicant.
Yeah, she's decided to kind of put her money on the moon.
And I don't blame Dia, because there are a lot of bosses here. Dia has gone and checked the giant. That's one of the other hiding spots. Now, just going and finding, just clearing out the moon, you're going to go and get 5 checks here. 5 checks here. I keep miscounting because there's 6 key items and 7 key items on the moon, but 1 more key item and there are bosses, so I always mess up that math.
It's okay. Ah, whoa, something happened there on Chokosura's side.
I believe Choco invoked forbidden math and used a few too many variables.
I think we just saw the Matrix for like a hot second. Oh, was it a Streamlink thing, Val? Okay. Yeah, that's been fun for everyone restreaming this week. There's been issues with Streamlink. Yes.
What, you don't enjoy it when developers randomly go and change things tied to, their dependencies on that people use for a variety of reasons, and then other stuff that was depending upon it breaks?
No, it's not good. Not good at all. Trust me, that was my earlier this week was me trying to help out everyone over at Questing for Glory figure out how to fix Streamlink.
Yeah, I imagine that's never a fun Monday or Tuesday or any day, really.
Nah. But anyway, Dia busy taking on Bahamut. We'll see if this ends up paying off at all in terms of key items.
Bahamut at the Peldim spot deciding that it didn't want to be in its cave today, it wanted to be in a different cave today, and then Miss Dragon just decided to move in afterwards. But getting the Earth Crystal, which there are 2 bosses at the Tower of Za, only one of which is gated by the Earth Crystal, but that's those are a few bosses there. And now we'll see if Dia decides to go back to the Earth, or if they go down to the bottom of the core and just check all the bosses to see if there's anything there for them.
Meanwhile, Smapty has done Keyless Tower finds Mom Bomb up there at the top.
Not going to be a terrible fight, especially because I see some Bacchus wine in that inventory. That's going to be a super fun. I'm glad that they don't have to go and clean up their mess after they have their party. Mom can go and wait. Mom is not going to go and be pleased by cleaning up someone else's mess today, I think.
I mean, that's just being a mom.
How much does Mom really see her children, though? Do we ever see them and their children together? I think not.
I mean, here's the thing. Now, are what she explodes into her children, or are her children like the other bombs that live down in the Fey March? Like, we haven't really established this lore. And then, like, in the afterward years, then there's like Dad Bomb. I have a lot of questions here.
Look, when a mom gets very, very angry. Well, maybe she doesn't gonna let us show it off today, but I think we can take some guesses.
All right, let's see. Is Smapey rewarded?
That looked like a pink tail to my eyes, but I did only briefly see it because I noticed that Mylon Z is hiding in the lunar subterrane, down at the bottom of the lunar core, where Rumblefish, I believe, just checked the plague spot to find. Meanwhile, Chokasura has left the giant, discovering that King Queen Evelyn was some free experience and the Alt Gauntlet was not so free experience.
Meanwhile, Dia's could be checking the Vanilla Wyvern spot.
And saying an incredibly, very fast, nope, to that Golbez fight.
No,
might be willing to fight Bahamut, might be willing to fight Demus, but Golbez is a bit too far.
We'll see if she sort of follows Rumblefish's path and ends up moving on to Mylon Z.
Certainly looks like they're going to that general area. There are 3 more checks down here. We could go and find the last 2 bosses. Kanizo could be sitting at Ogopogo or the D-Lunar spot, or they could be sitting in the Tower of Zot, or behind Package, or at the Twin Harp, or in the Cannon Room, because the bosses just love to play hide and go seek.
Don't forget King and Queen Evelyn.
But I want the runners to forget too, so we can all be
But with both Dia and Rumblefish in this fight, this shouldn't take too long.
Well, the spot is pretty light on HP. We've got a Cecil who we don't have any great holy swords for them at the moment, but maybe we'll find one on the moon. Edge just go and have, well, okay, Rose is just going to go and say, I have this fancy spell called White. I am going to go and just blow up your face.
To answer a question in chat, the one boss we're still looking for is Knazo. We know where everyone else is.
And I believe Rumblefish is currently in the lead with boss kills, needing just that Rumblefish and getting that package. Maybe Kanizo is sitting at the package, maybe they're sitting, the King Queen Evelyn, but Rumblefish is getting closer to finding them. So Dia definitely does go and have a leg up with that Earth Crystal, but has not gone and completed the Rubicant fight down in Feymarch.
Yeah, so she's a little bit behind with her checks.
Behind in checks, but definitely with the strongest party with
oh, absolutely.
Don't think anyone else is quite close to having White on their roses.
Oh, there he is.
Well, Rumblefish is in a good spot to, well, provided that Rumblefish can go and get through this fight. Rumblefish is gonna have their crystal as soon as Kanizo goes down.
I wonder if Dia's just not even going to bother leaving the moon. Oh no, she has to. Never mind. Rumblefish, though.
Yes, Rumblefish can just go and sit around and say, I am going to take levels and go and beat up Zeromus. And we do see that Chukasura is down here in the moon as well, going to discover, finding that Bahamut, going to discover Kanizo and Mylon Z here as well, and will likely be on their way to a Crystal and Zeromus kill, not too far behind Rumblefish, if Rumblefish gets through this fight without issue.
Yeah, the race is definitely tightening up. I will also take a very quick look. We haven't had anyone finish yet in the race room, so I will keep an eye on that, see if have any finishers there.
Yeah, right now we've got a pretty interesting setup because Edge has some somewhat decent weapons, but Cecil doesn't really have anything that great. I believe there were light swords for sale at Dwarf Castle if anyone picked one up, but I think Chokasura was the only person who checked that. There were Smapety, I believe, is about to get 2 adamant armors from turning in those tails, so Smapety is going to be in a very good position. But this team's not exactly the highest on damage right now.
Yeah, he'll probably want to catch up a little bit before making his way to Zeromus.
Yeah, Rumblefish is definitely going to need to go and stop and grind some levels. No character over 2000 HP is definitely not enough for Zeromus. Meanwhile, Dia is able to just soak some hits and Kira 4 through it with their just taking those levels. Ooh, and Chokasura, it seems, found that Earth Crystal and decided to bail and go straight back to Earth, which we know is not going to lead to the progress they need.
Oh no, Choco, no!
Choco may be deciding that because they missed that very early fusoya for so long, they're decidedly behind, which is not an incorrect assessment, and just gambling that, key item off the moon, back to Earth, this needs to be my advantage. It's not the worst idea, it's just not the correct idea today.
Yeah, this is definitely a you hate to see it moment.
Indeed, it's never fun when we know where the right way is and our runner is making a gamble that is not the right way. They do, however, find Kanizo and holy. Well, Dia just found something great to go and take them back to the Earth with an Avenger and a Legend Sword.
Oh,
to go with
come
the
on,
Adamant.
Dia. Come on, Dia, go back to Earth. Take that Legend Sword back to Earth.
Take that Legend Sword, forge it, then peak Fame Arch. Because if they go and look at, I imagine they'll look at the Ogopogo spot. Best hope is they go back to Earth, check Fame Arch, and realize that they never did that. See the Rubicant down there, kill them after going and grabbing a Excalibur from Cole Smith, and that is the damage that Dia is missing.
So fingers crossed for Dia. But this will probably, let's see though, what is on the Ogopogo spot tonight?
Free experience in the form of Dark Imps.
Dia, though, not having it.
Dia already has enough experience after clearing out Giant of a whole bunch of dragons. Meanwhile, Chokasura finds an edge at the top of Zod, which, not the edge she's looking for.
No, not the edge he needs in this race.
Rumblefish is in hiding the shell phase, which definitely steady progress, but Dia did surpass Rumblefish just by virtue of having a much stronger party, able to just very, very efficiently chew through Kanizo's HP and not have to go through so many phase transitions with gathering the water, dispelling the water, gathering the water, dispelling the water. Dia just nuked Kanizo's face, healed up the damage, and plowed through him that way.
All right, well, Dia is at least going down, heading straight to Kolkol's shop, so good there. So let's see. Oh, I'm just hoping that she ends up going to Fame Arch after this.
Yes, I agree. Smapety is making use of sirens to go and kill some gold dragons, while Chukasura is finding some undead moon dragons. Wow, that is a stacked shop. Zeus gauntlets, cat claws, life staffs, protect rings. Skokol is giving the goods. With that Excalibur, it just Cecil and Rosa is enough to take out Zeromus with Dia, so anything else is gravy.
Alright, come on, Dia. Fey March.
And it looks like Dia has heard our prayers and is going down to Fey
Yay!
March.
Go, Dia.
Just showing you don't need to go sit on top of a tower to go and get something to hear your prayers. You just have to say it enough and maybe throw in a few other curses.
You're good, Tower Sheep. You have been a good tracker tonight. We just been hoping for Dia to end up finally going to do that Fey March check.
Yes, and it looks like Chukasura is back on the moon and is going to be going down to the lunar core. I didn't see what they got from Zot, but I don't think it matters because we know where everything is and nothing requires going there. Thanks, Velvel, pointing out there was a Leviathan summon from Earth Crystal, which is extra insulting because I believe we've, one, seen a Leviathan summon and a Bahamut summon, and two, still can't get rid of you.
Nope. Oh, I'm very sad there's no music required. Ah, well.
Maybe someone will go and find it and do an encore for us.
Oh, that's always nice. Or I can just go grab the seed and figure it out myself. Anyway.
I do believe someone found a Game Genie code to go and produce that on the title screen, so always options.
Always options, but I don't think Dia's going to be...
Yeah, Dia is not going to be the one finding it because Dia is going and taking out that Rubicant. Cecil is getting an angry look and not standing up to it very well, but I think Dia is going to be okay.
Oh yeah, she's got this.
Fun fact, I believe Rubicant in the Elements fight absorbs Holy, which is, that's always a fun thing to go and discovered. But
that's gross.
You go and have a first place finisher with the official time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 38 seconds of Pkey 4787. Congratulations to Pkey 4787 for their first place finish.
Pkey. Yes, we have found all the different fiends. Just a quick overview for anyone who has missed it. You can see our Rubicante fight as well as our Kagnazo fight on screen. So it is Elements in Octomam, Valvalis in Baron in, Rubicante in the Fey March, Mylon and Friends at Dwarf Castle, Mylon Z at the Plague Spot, and Kagnazo at the D Lunar Spot. And there, Dia has her crystal!
And the pass, so Dia is in full go mode, can just go straight to Toria and start charging down. And with that Excalibur and Avenger, Dia is probably going to have a very smooth Zeromus fight.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I believe leads us to a very important question.
I know! I actually get to ask the question for once. I don't usually get to.
Will you do the honors?
Yeah. So, chat, whose butt are we gonna kick tonight? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? It's not me! There is one way you can actually fight me. It's not in the game yet. I'll tell you that.
We do go and have that, what is it? The Scala Lavos Fusion.
Yes, Dream Devourer is in the game. You can fight Dream Devourer at present.
So that's kind of like fighting Scala, right? I, of course, go and hope for one and only, the one true Zeromus sprite, 0 word, because I played too much C5. Also, I made...
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say also I may or may not have a form of resentment built up towards Edward strats at this point. Ooh, and it looks like Smafety took an unfortunate wipe to Bahamut not having a wall up.
No,
But here's Dia.
Sorry.
Nope, that's I have to draw attention to it. We do see Dia going into the Zeromus fight with their Cecil, and let's see whose butt we're kicking, because we don't add Zeromus to the boss pool because, well, Zeromus is a bit too much of everything, but we do enjoy giving him that makeover.
And we're gonna have a whole bunch of new ones once version 4 goes gold, basically. So I'm looking forward to people getting a chance to see the new ones.
I still haven't seen all the old ones yet. There's a lot of them.
We did actually do a proper indexing, so there are at present 375. With the update, it's going to be well over 400.
Oh my, and
yes, it's Kaipomus!
everyone, do you know what it's like to get trapped in an item shop? Don't worry, you'll get to find out this fight.
So fun fact, this is actually her sprite in the PSP version. Because I wanted one that was like big enough to actually be somewhat impressive. So I used her PSP sprite.
The PSP sprite definitely goes and provides a lot of good sprites, and that nice reflected nuke back onto Kaipomus. Good for Dia.
I had to include at least a few really in-jokey fan favorites.
And Dia is choosing not to go and use the Excalibur on Cecil and do hybrid strats. Dia is choosing to do straight reflex strats.
I mean, she's looks like she's gunning for like a really quick fight. Do you want to explain about reflex strats for anyone who might not know?
So one of the things about Zeromus that makes him a bit too much to throw into the normal boss pool is Zeromus has more HP than he can actually have, which, to explain what that in a bit in further detail, Zeromus in the vanilla game has about 100,000 HP, which is 40,000 more HP than he can actually have because the value for HP maxes out around 65,000. To do this, the programmers made it so after you do 45,000 damage to Zeromus and then hit him with an attack, he'll counterattack by refilling his health and then changing phases. If you go and use a wall to reflect spells, you never trigger counterattacks. And if Zeromus can never counterattack, Zeromus can never refill his health, so you just have to do about 62,000 damage to them.
Yeah,
which
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, which I believe Dia is getting quite close to with doing somewhere to 5,000 to 8,000 damage with each cast.
Yeah, and that's basically sort of the core of Rosa strats in the vanilla game. But in this game, we have multiple Rosas! So we got even more White Mage bang for our buck.
Multiple Rosas, fusoya to come with us to the end game. Characters who aren't Rydia, who learn Nuke with not obscene amounts of experience. So this is getting quite close, and HP, so normally you avoid trying to go and trigger a counter nuke because you trigger it usually by doing a damage spell. If you use a crystal, that doesn't do damage. If you don't do damage, that can trigger a counter attack without going and triggering the HP refill, because the HP refill specifically needs damage to do it, which is very complicated and very convoluted and a very tricky thing to pull off. But Dia is done. Dia is finished in second place with an official time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 54 seconds. Let's see if we can get them in for an interview.
I've already gone ahead and asked her if she would like to do so. Alright,
Hi.
Hello, hi Dia! GG!
Thank you.
What did you think of this, the flags in general and how the race went?
I really love the flags. I definitely made some very silly mistakes throughout this. I easily could have had burst if I didn't make some of those, but overall I'm pretty happy with how I played it.
You definitely went and leveraged, did a good check of going and checking bedward and then taking that darkness crystal to get the fusoya. That was a very good check. What drove your decision that way?
When it comes to free cans, I always like to go to the bedward first. Just 'cause, like, if it's an earth crystal, you get the treasury. If it's darkness, you get a character. If it's sandroom, you get a character. Like, it's just, there's so many good things you can get from a key item that check is worth way more to me than going through Baron and looting.
Definitely seems like a worthwhile thing, as that fusoya seemed worth more than their weight in gold.
Yeah.
What other parts of this early game stood out to you, or early, mid, or late game?
I had no idea that Whichburn could no retreat.
It definitely got a big laugh from us here in the booth when we saw that.
I was cracking up when I saw it. I was like, wait, that can hack?
Whichburn gives a lot, and Whichburn can take a lot too, and
Yeah.
today Whichburn decided to give us a good laugh.
Yes, it did. Then, like, I went and fought Val way too early and ended up having to do all the ordeals bosses again, which was just ugh. I mean, granted, Fu made those quick work of all of them, but that's still pretty significant time loss just through the cutscenes and everything.
Yeah, we did notice that fusoya learned Quake at a pretty early 800 HP. That seemed to go and at least mitigate some of that time loss, as other people did try and do ordeals sooner, but your fusoya really helped you just cut through a lot.
Yeah, the only thing I got upset about with Fusoya's spell list this time around is you got weak so late. It was the next to last spell set you learned, so you just did not get that chance to grind and go to the moon glory early like I usually like to do when I see a Fu.
There was did you ever end up checking the Eblin Cave shop?
No. Wait. Yes, there were sirens and coffins.
Right, so you could have at least pulled out that grind, but it was rather money intensive, so I can understand not going for that grind.
Yeah, like
how did you feel about that? Sorry.
yeah, like and at that point, like when I checked, I didn't really have the money to buy mini sirens, so it's just not really gonna bother with it. Just go and do the deed max later.
Very good point. How did you feel? I mean, at what point did you feel that you were going to need to do something a bit outside of what you wanted to do? Was there any specific point where you made a play you were uncomfortable with, or do you feel that that progressed in a pretty safe fashion for you?
I feel like the only thing I did I really didn't want to do was fight the Demist at Bahamut. Just because Demist is always a really long fight. But there were so many key items left, I felt that I couldn't just leave 2 of them on the table, just in case. So
Yeah,
you definitely had to take that one.
Yeah, just looking at your key items, I don't know if you managed to go. I think you managed to hit 10 key items right at the end, if at
Mhm.
all. How did you feel
I
about?
hit 11 with the crystal.
Okay, so definitely you hit 10, but it was definitely late and after your grind. Did that go and affect some of your decisions, or just decide, all right, I just want to go and do a grind now, no matter what?
I just wanted to go no matter what. Honestly, you have a Fu and Darkness so early, and it's one of these seeds where you have to just hunt the bosses. Just get your grind done early and take out the giant while you're there, because that's 2 boss checks and a crap ton of experience.
Yeah, we did notice that King Queen Eblin was in the element spot, which was somewhat amusing.
Yeah. And then I forgot about the alternate gauntlet flag. So I was like, wait, I thought I turned the counters off. Then I was like, oh.
We were a bit amused by that because we were really hoping for that alt gauntlet to be in the Ogopogo spot.
That'd be me.
Have I mentioned I'm a terrible person?
I was hoping for Ruby there, just get back to back elements and just go Zeromus right after.
Yeah, that was a very that bottom of the moon had two of the four, as we did see Rubicant come up earlier in Feymarch. But that's a pretty dense location for elements. How did you feel when you saw Kanizo in the lunar spot after just killing Mylon Z in the Flake spot?
I was just hoping for that Ruby at that point. Like, okay, this is a pretty free fight with the party I have right now. So hopefully I can get this Ruby in Ogopogo and just go and finish up right now.
Wow, that was definitely loaded for you, and you were more than ready to go straight to Zeromus afterwards.
Mm-hmm. And
so
then
you did.
I also like switched the X-Cow, and there's like, actually with this one I kind of just want to go pure reflex, so I just chucked it with Edge instead.
I was interested in that because I hadn't noticed that you'd managed to get white on your roses. I was thinking, oh, you're a little light on damage, so maybe you just want to go and get that Excalibur and carve through Zeromus with Cecil, but you proved me wrong by going for that reflex strat. What was this just seeing that I have 3 casters, or was it something else that went and pushed you over to want to do reflex strats over just mowing down Zeromus?
The main thing that pushed me over was the agility situation. My anchor was a 30 agi Cecil, and I also never found life potions because I didn't bother shopping really, so I kind of just wanted to get damage and just completely destroy him as quick as possible.
Sounds very reasonable. That was definitely a very solid fight on your end. That look, the late nerf was a very interesting play as well, which I'm interested to see how you're thinking about that.
Just, I don't know. Honestly, it kind of just felt like everything was kind of going to plan. I was considering just going for the nuke and hoping we had the damage, which we would have. But going for that nerf was just safer, so I went for it.
Sounds entirely reasonable. Do you have any final thoughts on the seed and this race in general, or on the beta?
The beta is great. I'm loving the custom objectives. Like, it's adding a lot of variety to the siege type, and like you can just throw them in, like mix things with forge, and like just add all these different things you have to do. Honestly, the beta has been absolutely amazing. This seed was really good fun. It's honestly kind of felt like a just go seed for me, from where I had that boost already. And yeah, it's just really good fun.
Well, I'm glad that you've been enjoying it.
As one of the devs, it's always I've been just loving everyone's reactions to the beta, and as always, thanks to Boardface for just putting in so much heart and soul into this game. He really has outdone himself.
Absolutely. Other than that, just thanks to you guys for the commentary, thanks to Val for the restream, and Tower for tracking. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you as well, Dia. I hope you have yourself a lovely evening, and thank you for being one of our restreamed runners.
Bye.
Yes, thank you very much. Have a great evening. Congratulations on the second place finish.
Thank you.
And as we've been talking things through with Dia, just on stream, Smatey finished up in. So here, let's quickly go through what has happened in the race while we're doing that interview. Antidale came in 3rd place with a 1:30.33. Moonblaze Wolf came in 4th place with a 1:30.157, and then we just had Smatey come in 5th place with a 1:37.58. And not too far behind, Poydrak came in 6th place with a 1:38.23. So let's see about getting Smatey in here for an interview.
And I believe we're joined by him now. Congratulations on your 5th place finish, Smatey. How do you feel about that seed?
Thanks. Honestly, it was pretty straightforward. I was really worried going into the moon there at the end that it was going to be some sort of scavenger hunt where it was going to be like a Harper or Crystal or something that sent me on a side quest to find the last boss. But no, they were both just sitting there in the lunar subterranean, so that worked out pretty nicely.
we did have one thing we wanted to ask you about, Smape.
Only one?
Well, two. Okay, two. You got me. First of all, what did you think when you saw Wyvern? Oh, you didn't know what happened when Wyvern, what his whichburn was today. You didn't get to see that.
No, I did Antlion late, and I beat him before he got a turn.
Would you like to know what it was?
I would love to.
It was retreat.
That's beautiful.
Wyvern bravely ran away.
No, I'm out of here. I only got 1,000 HP at this spot.
Would you also like to know, because we saw that you accidentally went to the giant.
Yeah.
Would you like to know what was at the element spot?
Oh, actually, yeah. What was there?
King and Queen Ebelon, which would have got you a nice, crispy, like 100k experience for free.
Oh yeah, that was a complete mistake. Just clicking on the guy to go to the giant. I was actually trying to go back to the moon because I wanted to sneak a peek at Bahamut and completely forgot about it, but I just abandoned all of that.
It's okay. Now, it was actually pretty funny because Dia went to go do a D machine grind, and after she was done, she then got King and Queen Ebelon. And then after that, she found out that CPU was the alt gauntlet.
Oh my goodness.
And it started with the grind fight, and I kind of lost it.
Did she go through with the gauntlet, or just nope out?
Nah. She took her King and Queen Ebelon experience and noped on out of there. And we were like, yes, correct play. But what did you think of that seed?
That was a lot of fun. It was not too trolling. Like I said, pretty straightforward, except for the possibility there being some sort of hunt there at the end. But it was honestly a nice seed in that it rewarded anyone who had the courage and the wherewithal to play the moon early. They would have gotten those two bosses out of the way, and everything else would have fallen into place pretty nicely. So I really liked it. This was a really fun demonstration of what Fiend Percent can really do.
Yeah, I was talking to Baka earlier that bits and pieces of what has now become version 4 have been in discussion since basically like RPG Limit Break. At least that was my first sort of look at it when Board and I were both there. So I've been really impressed with everything that Board has put into it, and I just have been loving all the feedback we've been getting. And for those of you watching at home, I mean, if you are at all interested, please come join our Discord. There's all the information in there if you would like to come and try out the beta. It's still being tested and everything, so especially if you have good feedback for us, we are absolutely listening. Some of things that have already been implemented are things like alternate gauntlet. That was an idea that got implemented because of feedback. And same thing with Fiends Percent. That for a very long time was something that got requested a lot. So we've been really happy to actually like take in some feedback and give back to people what they've been asking us for.
Yeah, this has been pretty great. Just the all the different ways you can really experience what the randomizer has with all the different customizable objectives and everything. So yeah, I think it's my experience so far with the beta has been overwhelmingly positive.
As much as I love Natara and Demarine getting a chance to do the flags, I think at one point I have to bug one of them to just let me like choose the flag set and make everyone have to go through what I thought was definitely one of the funniest modes we can do, which is Final Yank to see, where it's all just Yang related objectives.
I'm looking forward to that.
But yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed the seed. Baka, do you have any questions?
Oh, I believe you covered a lot of them. There's been a lot of interesting stuff in the seed. There's been a lot of interesting variants in the plays, and we've had a lot to go and look at here, which has been very entertaining to see.
Awesome. Well, Smeepy, do you have any final thoughts yourself?
Just that I thought I was crazy when I turned in the rat tail and got an adamant armor because I swore I did the regular rat tail and not the pink tail. But no, they just both had adamant armors today.
It's double adamant armor day.
I can't complain with that because
it's buy one get one free.
Exactly.
You had your coupon with you. You got your free adamant.
Well, thanks to both of you for commentating. Shout out to Tower Sheep doing the tracking and Vival Skunk on the restream. Thanks everybody for putting this together, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely, Smithy. And thank you for all that you do for the community as well. It's always a good time to have you either in the race or in the restreamer chair or in the comms chair. It's always a good time to have you around. And I hope you have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening.
You too. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on your well done race.
All right, I do believe we have Chokosura coming in next. Hello, Chokosura!
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can
Yes,
hear you
we can
just
hear you.
fine.
All right. I played that seed so badly. That's all I really have. That's all I can say
Yeah.
about I played that seed so bad.
We did see that there were some unfortunate early decisions that did not pay out for you, and some early decisions that could have paid out for you that you were delayed a bit on. So how did you feel about the early game? You were definitely the first underground, I can tell you that.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's something. Early game, I mean, I guess I wanted to try a different route on that seed and see where it would take me. And I was hoping I would like find some bosses along the way, which I found the one in the Watery Pass, or Octoman spot rather, which was nice. Did anyone check that early, or?
That
Or
was
no?
actually surprisingly commonly checked, I believe. Dia
Okay.
and there's one person on the restream who that was their last find, but it was a surprisingly common check, all things considered, because
Yeah, it is.
I know when I've gone for demist, I've forgotten that spot on some occasions, and it's bitten me, so
Right.
it's easy to skip spot.
Yeah, I've learned to check that and demon spot a lot more often now, especially early on. But kind of kicking myself, one, because I chased that earth crystal like a goofball, and two, I wiped on Knazel so many times and then realized I had my Sid with exactly 0 agility. I was trying to figure out what was going on with that.
That's
Yeah, I
And in
noticed he was
defense-
going first.
And in defense of your Earth Crystal play, I can definitely understand that, from the sense of you've gone and made a number of, you've gone and made some decisions that definitely didn't work out in your favor. So going for an edge
Yeah.
play of find the Earth Crystal, follow that, find a fiend there, that would go and make up a lot of time for you. I definitely understand that play. It just didn't work out for you this time.
I mean, I was looking at my timer. I'm thinking no one's not done yet, so I was thinking to myself, maybe if I make this play, I might get lucky. But
Yeah, and there are 6 bosses. They can go and be hiding in some very awkward locations. I am not going to
Yeah.
go and suggest that was a bad idea to go and check there for one of the bosses that you might need, because it is, again, 2 spots that you're not likely to go and check that Mega Sister spot. You can go catch up on, that check, catch up some time, then go back to the moon and find the last boss that you might need. And again, it just didn't work out for you today.
yeah, and for the longest time, I was thinking that Knazel was the last boss I needed until I looked at my tracker and I realized, oh, I didn't kill Mylon Z. And luckily, he was right next door, which I was kind of salty about that, actually.
Yeah, that was a pretty big surprise for us too, where it's just, all right, where are these last 2 elements hidden? We've got a lot of key items to find. We haven't found a twin harp. We haven't found a tower key. Could it go and be somewhere hidden behind? No, they're just sitting right next to each other in the bottom of the lunar subterranean, just chilling out, having tea or something.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking that too, that one of those bosses would be gated behind one of those key items. I was definitely thinking that. But I think I just need to go to the moon more earlier on these kind of flag sets. I've noticed I've been avoiding it until later on in the seed.
Without sirens as available as they are, it's very easy to just not want to go to the moon because you can't go and get that big shot of power.
True.
It's a very understandable thing. That's something where the first person who went to the moon was Dia, I believe, after they did a D machine grind in the Giant and found that the King Queen Evelyn were at the element spot for some more free experience, and then just tore through a lot of the moon, where Dia actually found some bosses after another restream runner, but managed to kill them first just by virtue of having those levels. So
Right.
there's a pretty big meta change with the change to sirens and just how those shops are working. We did have them in this seed, but they're notably more expensive.
Yeah, I did notice that too.
What are your thoughts on the beta changes and just how the beta is working in general?
Well, I mean, I haven't played enough of it for one thing, but from what I've played of it so far, I think the changes are definitely for the better. Some of the changes I feel they were necessary, like the changes to some of the more powerful items, like hourglasses and sirens and Bacchus ones and whatnot. I thought that was a very necessary change. And I think the objective system is pretty neat too, overall. But
Yeah,
I really like this beta. I really like this beta.
I'm glad that you're enjoying it so far. Do you have any other thoughts on the seed, the race, or the beta in general?
No, not really.
I think we'll let you go. Thank you for being a research runner. Congratulations on your finishing the race. And
Thank you.
look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
While we were interviewing Chokosura, we did have another finisher. BG Rich finished in 8th place with 1:43.27. And as we've been talking, Rumblefish has made his way into the Zeromus fight, so he should be finishing up pretty quickly. Letting chat know, our wonderful restreamer Valvalis Skunk will be doing playing the harp song for us. He actually got that pulled up, so we do get to actually hear it tonight.
Well, that's definitely something to look forward to, and we appreciate Valvalis Skunk for going and doing that for us. That's it is sad to go and have a seed without music, so we're glad to go and avoid that in this case.
Yeah, we'll just have to coordinate that, but it should be too bad.
In the meantime, we do see that Rumblefish is in the Zeromus fight, having gotten a little tripped up by that hidden elements fight that Jokester and I were mentioning, that it's an easy spot to go and get tripped up on because you never really need to go there.
Yeah, but Rumblefish, though, gonna be already in medio phase, gonna be clearing this fight out post-haste.
Yeah, just rocks falling, HP falling. This is just... Zeromus is not long for this world. This team is a little too sturdy for this. Rosa going in, just taking the shot to take out the soldier. Like, no, go back to your store, stay there, and don't come out. And Rumblefish is done with an official time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 43 seconds, finishing in 9th place. GG Rumblefish. Let's see if we can go and get him in here for an interview.
Yeah, we're just waiting for him to connect up to Discord VC.
But all in all, this has been a rather interesting race with the big change. Rather than looking for hunting down key items at the end of the race, we're going and hunting down bosses. Definitely a very different type of race than what we had for, say, the Highway to the Zeromus Zone League just a few months ago.
Oh, trust me, don't worry. The dev team, the workshop helpers, we're already thinking about stuff. Oh, and there is Rumblefish.
Hey there.
Hello, congratulations on the finish.
Thank you. In retrospect, I think it was a bad strategic decision for me to go to the moon first without checking that one spot in Waterfall. I think that really set me behind.
It is definitely an easy spot to miss. It's something that some people remember it for Demus hunts, and some people just checked it because they were there, but it is very easy to go and miss those types of out-of-the-way spots that don't really have any immediate purpose when you're looking for key items usually.
Right, and that was my train of thought, was that I was going to go to the moon first so that I could get the bosses that also have the key items available, so I would be hitting two birds with one stone. And it was, you know, I did find, I think it was at least 2 of the bosses I needed to fight on the moon, so it wasn't all bad. It was just that there was that one easy boss in Waterfall that I missed that everybody else seemed to got hold of, and meanwhile I was just trying to kill everything on the moon before I got there.
Yeah, those one-off hidden bosses can definitely go and trip people up very easily. It's a very easy thing to go and miss. How did you feel about the other parts of that seed?
Well, generally speaking, I thought I was doing pretty well. That was kind of a shame it wasn't a Forge the Crystal seed, because I think I had the Legend and the Adamant relatively early on. So if that was the goal, I would have been able to get the Crystal early on. I think it was pretty straightforward. I mean, I can't think of anything actually about it that was like overwhelmingly difficult. Like, for example, like I thought the water hag fight in the summon monsters, the land of summon monsters, was, you know, made that fight a breeze. And then I also thought I did pretty well with Kegnazo too, because I was pretty good with my timing and my Thor rages, and that helped me get that fight pretty quickly, I think. So, you know, overall, I'm pretty. If I think about it that way, I think I'm pretty satisfied with my performance.
Yeah, that Knazo fight was definitely, you made a point of going in properly, going and stopping those waves, which is a very important thing to do when, you know, you had not even a 2000 HP member in your party, so you definitely needed to do that, and you did that rather well.
Yeah, and so it was just you know, good on me for having the Thor rages with me there, because Kegnazo using his wave, which is a hit point based attack, and of course that spot has like probably the highest hit points of all the boss spots. I could be wrong about that, but so wave is pretty deadly there, but I was able to avoid it except when it got down to very low health, and of course at that point that the wave wasn't really a danger. So
yeah, that's always, once you're late into the fight, you know, you've gone and done enough. It can be scary when you go and miss that Lip Bolt or Thor Rage or whatnot, but when it's not doing thousands of damage when it would be early in the fight, that is at least a relief.
And that's what makes these flags, I think, really interesting, the Fiends flags, because those fights are like the most technical fights, I think, of the Final Fantasy IV randomizer, because you might have to be in a situation where you have to be really good with your timing of your, you know, in stopping the waves. On Kegnazo, you might be in a situation where you have to be, you know, able to pierce Valvalis' spin, either through Kain's jump or just, you know, overpowering her. As you can see, I had like 2 attempts at Valvalis before 3 attempts before I was able to get through her, and even at the 3rd attempt, it was like a powerful party that was doing poultry damage. Because fortunately, she didn't have much hit points there. And then Rubicon, of course, there's the cloak issue, and so I mean that's what makes these flags really interesting, the Fiends flags, because those fights are going to be the most technical fights, and you have to get through all of them in order to get to the end.
Yeah, I agree. These, you know, this is definitely a big departure from Forge, where it's about finding key items. This is about finding bosses, which might be behind key items, but might just be sitting on the moon or sitting in a waterfall somewhere. How do you feel about this change and some of the other beta changes?
Well, I'm really pleased with them. I mean, I think that they really kind of get a lot. It's reinvigorating the randomizer that was already fantastic to begin with, but now there's all sorts of ways you can approach it, and you can, you know, you can randomize it for, so you don't know what the goals are going to be. You can have random objectives. You can have like a really short sheet a short seed if you want to, by just having like one objective, or I mean, it really just kind of breathes new life into it. And the permadeath option, we didn't see that in here. I really like that quite a bit, because that makes things a relay challenge, you know, because dead actually means dead, and that flag set. So they're a lot of fun to explore, and I'm glad that I give a lot of credit to the programmers who keep updating the randomizer to make it fresh and exciting.
That's definitely some very good insights. Scala, do you have any questions?
No, I think I'm pretty good. Rumblefish, thank you so much for being part of the restream this evening. Thank you for the race, and I hope you have yourself a lovely evening.
Well, thank you so much. I hope you all have a lovely evening too. Thanks for restreaming me.
Thank you. We do have one little extra bit of business. Valvala Skunk was very kind and has the harp song ready for us. So I think we will probably go a little quiet, let the harp song play, and everyone in chat, you all can play Name That Tune with us. Yeah, to be specific, this is Dearly Beloved from Kingdom Hearts, one of my favorites.
I'm happy to go and tell which game it's from. I'm glad that you know these songs much better than I do. But I believe that will bring us to the close of this race.
It's not like I've been like super into Kingdom Hearts for like its entire run or anything.
I'm sure it's just a passing interest in, you know, random trivia that,
But thank you everyone who came and enjoyed our Friday night community race. It's always wonderful to put this on for y'all, and I hope y'all did enjoy it. If you were at all new to Free Enterprise and have not seen it yet, you can go and visit ff4fe.com. I will drop that link in chat. If you would like to learn more, there's also links to our community Discord. And for tonight, for our hosting, we are going to be hosting RPG Limit Break. They are in the middle of the Questing for Glory marathon. And just a reminder, Sunday night around 5 o'clock Eastern. Again, it's a marathon, so times might shift a little bit. The marathon will be ending with Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. We are doing a Catalyte race with permadeath flags because our racers make questionable decisions, but that's okay. We support them anyway. It will be Moonblaze Wolf, Scratch Dragon, Swimmy Leone, and Zyrak, and we're really looking forward to it. We hope you all will have the chance to join us, but for right now, we can go ahead, host that, and y'all can enjoy yourselves a lovely evening of more RPGs. Baka, it has been absolutely fantastic to have the chance to commentate with you. You are I know one of our best commentators, and it's a chance to work side by side. It is a wonderful opportunity to work side by side with you. There we go. That's why I'm not usually in the booth.
It's been amazingly fun commenting with you tonight as well, Scala. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and I hope everyone had as much fun as I did, because this is a fantastic time. And yeah, come out for the Questing for Glory finale with the Free Enterprise. That's going to be a great race, as Scala told us.
And also, of course, thank you so much to the people working hard behind the scenes. Valvala Skunk, who was our restreamer, and Tower Sheep, who was our tracker. Y'all did an absolutely fantastic job. Thank you all for keeping us on the straight and narrow, making sure that we got everything where it needed to be. But anyway, let's go ahead and head on over to RPG Limit Break, and I hope all of you have yourselves a lovely evening.
Have a nice evening, and good night.